Don't mock. I'm not a fool. And people who know me personally know that I am not a fool. But I won't get into the details of those. I just want people to realize that I'm not a fool. Don't mock. I'm not a fool. Don't mock. I'm not a fool.
Hey there, it's Coach Cole here, and welcome to Leadership Lessons. Now, Leadership Lessons gets, we use the content from Leadership Lessons on the Dumb Leader podcast, and we often get questions on the Dumb Leader podcast from people that are wanting some advice on how to navigate the world of leadership. And we love providing some real awareness. But today I want to share one of those questions. We had a question from Dale, and he's from Hobart. Now, he shares with us that he's just had his performance review, and the only feedback that he really got, that he really received, was that I must become less of a manager and more of a leader and a coach. Now, what does that mean? He's asked. And how do I show, importantly, how do I show that I'm doing it? He says he's got a good team now, and he's not quite sure what else he can be doing. Is there any advice? And of course, there's always advice. So let's first look at the leadership. So it's a really great question, and how we hear that a lot nowadays from frontline leaders, mid-level leaders. They want me to be more of a leader, more of a coach, less of a manager. And we get that because leadership really is an inspirational way to lead your team. And the way that I look at the difference between management and leadership is that management is about a system and a process, and leadership is about the people. And it really helps me maintain real clarity around that. So leadership is about leading people. Management is about a system and a process. Now, of course, you really need good people to manage it and perform effectively in a process. So there's always going to be the need for us to have a mix of both management and leadership skills. But with leadership, the focus is on our people. Now, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And that's a great quote from one of my mentors in John Maxwell. Leadership is about influence, nothing more, nothing less. And the best ways to influence others is to actually show that you care. Now, that's not something soft, right? That's really about getting to know them and understanding what it is that makes them tick. Now, believe it or not, military leaders are renowned for this because of the care that they have for their team. They build a great rapport, a great understanding, a great intimacy around what's involved in the people that they lead, right? So they really care deeply. They get to know their people deeply. And because of that, the training is actually really hard, but it's really a way that the leader actually shows that they care, because they don't want to give a what's the word I'm looking for? They don't want to be half-assed about the training, because ultimately that can be the difference between a life or death thing within the military. So they actually really care about their team. They care about them deeply. They know about the family. They know about where they're brought up. They know about their pets. They know about their high school sweethearts. They know all of this because they have to know what is going to get that person through what could be some pretty challenging times. Now, leadership is about people, and caring certainly isn't soft. In fact, it's needed, and it's actually quite hard. And this is where leaders coach. Now, I'm just going to go through a bit of a list of what coaches do. So when you become a leader, this is really about how do I now show my team that I care, and how do I lead them and coach them to be more effective in what it is that they do. So, Dale, this will give you something to think about and reflect upon, and it's certainly in no order of importance, so please bear that in mind. And it's certainly not an exhaustive list, but it is one list that you can really think about. So as a leader coaches, mentors, directs, supports their team, the coaching aspect is really about trying to set yourself with a framework. Now, a good coach will always set goals with their people that they're coaching. There'll always be an aspect of what is it that you want to achieve? What is it that you're striving for? What is it that you're aiming for? So they really want to set goals. Number two, where a leader is a coach, is they want to examine the tactics that the coachee is currently doing and their behaviors. They want to be able to be in a position where the coach is examining those behaviors with the manager, with the leader. We need to set targets. So we've set a goal, and then we need to set targets along the way, and that's what a good coach will do. A good coach will also challenge the assumptions that the other person has. So really challenge them as in respect of, is that correct? Is that what we should be thinking? Why is it that you think that way? Those sorts of questions is what a good leader coach will be asking their team members that they're coaching. We want to challenge assumptions, because assumptions are things that can get us into a lot of trouble when we're leading people. Number 5, I've got 8 points here. So set goals, examine tactics and behaviors, set targets, challenge assumptions is our first 4. We want to be able to point out their weaknesses and their opportunities. And that can be quite confronting for people when it comes to that feedback equation. And you've probably heard me talk about feedback many, many times, but a coach has to do that, because if there are things that are holding a person back in what it is that they're setting out to do, of course, if there's an opportunity for improvement, a good coach should be highlighting that. A coach will also make sure that they're maximizing their strengths. So that's number 6. And number 5, point out their weaknesses. Number 6 is maximize their strengths, because we don't want to just be working in that negative zone of endeavoring to improve a person's weaknesses at the detriment of them losing strength within what it is that they're actually really good at. Number 7, they need to provide feedback, so a good coach will provide feedback. And number 8 is that they'll provide focus so that the person can get clarity on what it is that they want to do. So I'll just go through those 8 again that will help take you from being a manager to a leader to a coach. Setting goals, examining tactics and behaviors, setting targets, challenging assumptions, pointing out weaknesses and opportunities, maximizing strengths, providing feedback, and providing the focus for the client or the manager to get clarity. Dale, I hope this has given you some advice on how you can shift from being a manager to a leader/coach. Thanks for tuning in to Leadership Lessons. I will see you all again next week. Bye for now.
Don't mock. I'm not a fool. And people who know me personally know that I am not a fool. But I won't get into the details of those. I just want people to realize that I'm not a fool. Don't mock. I'm not a fool. Don't mock. I'm not a fool.